Great for sinus pressure, sinus headaches, inflammation, digestion, liver function. It sounds to me like it's the miracle drug. Bug zappers contain lemons, gingers, turmeric, cayenne pepper, and local honey. Lemons are an excellent source of vitamin C. They can also increase everything for glowing skin. You just need to do it. Cayenne pepper is also anti-inflammatory, and your metabolism will go through the roof. Not to mention, it is your savior for sinus blockages, which I waited too late on that one. I got the crud shot, and when I got the crud shot, that steroid keeps me up for about a week. Hannah is the one you need to contact. So if you'll talk to the bug will zap you. 731-571-8747. 731-571-8747. Bug Zappers. Hey, we are joined on the show today, and this Angie Arrington, I'm telling you, Regency retirement. Now, I have a personal connection because in my time at the fire department, you guys were in our area, and so it wasn't that we made a lot of business calls. It was that we were invited to everything that you did, and we cooked chili, we ate, we played. I sat down one day, we had to play that Baby Grand that sat in there. Well, thank you. You got to get right up in that microphone.
Oh my God.
There
okay,
we
how
go.
About that,
That's great.
Perfect.
So I mean, I just got to say, it's being in the fire department for as many years and around the city. I've seen several, and not putting anybody down, but I would say that there is one that was above, and it is Regency, and
thank you.
It was always clean. It seemed like there was always activity, and there was an electricity in there that just...
You feel something when you walk in, David. I've been very blessed. I've been at Regency for 5.5 years. I come out of the ER as an ER nurse. I worked EMS for many years, so I love just taking care of people. I've always worked that high-stress job. And the older we get, sometimes we just need a change. And so my change has been at Regency. I do all the admissions and all the marketing, and I love it. I love the residents. We've been very blessed for 2 years in a row. We've been voted best of the best of Jackson for assisted living, memory care. This year, we actually got a third award for the senior care living as well. So we captured all 3 of those awards. And those are very prominent awards, and we take that at heart. But we love our residents at Regency, okay? We are owned by pastors, so we even have a full-time pastor on staff, So not only do we meet the emotional need, the physical need, but we also meet that spiritual need, which is very important.
When you start to look towards a place like Regency, I mean, it is an important time, and it is a life. It's where you're transitioning.
Yes.
And, to be able to have those facilities available, and to have all of those things that I know that y'all have, and I want to get into some of them. It is as strenuous as it may be. It makes it so much easier, and when you walk in that door,
it does.
It is a comfort that normal places don't have.
And by me doing that sales piece of getting folks to move in, I always share my story. My mom went through dementia, Alzheimer's. So I do understand what these people are going through when they come and they inquire with me, hey, I'm looking for a loved one, or my parents, or whoever. I know. I've been that caregiver. So, I can see and understand where they're going through, the hard decisions they have to make of placing a loved one there at Regency. And I tell them all the time, what you feel when you walk through the front door, I cannot sell that. I can sell a room, I can sell a building, but what you feel, the love, the excitement, the closeness of each and every resident. Those are just things that it sells itself.
Yeah, I mean, it just happens.
Okay.
It is like anything in the world. I mean, you can't make that up. It's either
absolutely.
and we'll get into this. It's like a good meal. It either
Yeah.
tastes good or it doesn't.
Absolutely.
You know, you can build it up all you want to, but if it doesn't taste good to me,
Absolutely.
then I don't get that
and
feeling.
speaking of food,
Yeah, that's what I was
you,
gonna
you know,
say.
my dietary department now,
Uh.
I will say I'm blessed enough to go out and feed referral sources, attorneys, financial planners, all that, and they're always asking, "Oh, did this come from such and such?" I'm like, "No, this is what our residents eat every day of the week."
Every day.
you know, and so our dietary is top of the line.
Oh, and I can vouch for that because I have partaked in a lot of
Yes, y'all
meals
have.
there.
We love feeding
and,
y'all. Yes.
and it was fantastic. You know, as I was talking to somebody, and I'm actually going through the first part of this again. I just had a new grandbaby,
Congratulations.
and I think the two hardest things that happen in some person's life is when you take that baby and put them in daycare for the first time, or you take that parent and know that they need assistance.
Absolutely.
And those are two things that, you know, when it happens, you need the security and you need the comfort in knowing.
And that reassurance of
Yes.
knowing.
And
Yeah.
for you to be able to speak from experience, because most people, the first time they do that, I mean, it's the first time. They don't know. They don't know.
And I will say from my experience, that was probably one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make with my mom, knowing she could no longer be safe at home.
Right?
She could no longer drive. She could no longer care for herself. The safety is always my most important thing. Coming from that EMS and ER,
Oh, yes.
you know, you see a lot. And I had to make that decision of, hey, my mom's got to be in a safe, loving environment that's going to have her needs met. And so I do understand.
And you have to second guess yourself when making that.
Absolutely.
And so somebody who can sit down and say, look, I know I've been here. I had the same exact thoughts and feelings that you're having, and then being in the comfort of that place. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, even where it sets, the landscape, everything about it is.
It feels like home.
It does.
It feels
It really
home.
does.
And you know, we always say, you know, when I talk with families, I always say, look, when you're moving your loved one in, I want that apartment decorated like it would be if it was home. This
Yeah.
is their new home. I want them to walk in and see those family pictures, to see those things that they know of and reminisce of, because it is their new home.
You know, and I will tell you this, and this is, you know, I'm not being paid to advertise, but I'm going to right here, is that we had made trips from the fire department over there, you know, for calls. Sometimes things go wrong. Alarms go off, you know, cooking.
Residents pull those alarms.
Yeah,
sometimes.
absolutely. And look, when it happens in the middle of the day and everybody's there and, you know, it's a full staff and it's rolling, you know, I mean, you think what you think. When it happens at 3 o'clock in the morning and there are people who are confused, they're scared, they
Yes.
don't know, they've just been woken up and they're being taken care of and explained to, and it just is almost like clockwork
Yes.
the way that they're comforted. And that is what meant the most to me, is because when you get a call and we would know where we were going, and it would, like, I know that there's people right now that are scared to death because they're not sure of what's happening. And the way that y'all handled it was top notch, and I always was able to feel comfortable that, you know, we could go in there and do what we needed to do to stop the accident, hoping that it wasn't anything, and it never was.
Well, our residents will always be our number one priority.
Well-
That's what keeps us in business, and we are very resident oriented. And I always say, if there comes a time that we cannot be resident oriented, it'll be time for me to go home.
Well, I'm going to tell you, what a job you do. We're going to go to a break. We're talking with Angie Arrington from Regency Retirement. And when we get back, there's a special event that's going to happen on January the 8th. And I want you to